there's just a lot of competitive energy around you this week of people who are not looking out for your best interest.
Welcome to Cards and Constellations with Bonnie Morris and Don Rumor Rivera from Sonoran Mystic Tarot. Here, we blend astrology and tarot to guide you through the twists and turns for the week ahead. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share. Let's dive into your cosmic journey together.
Okay, before we get to the astrology and tarot, let's take a look at the moon for the week of September 15th through the 21st. And this week on Sunday the 21st, we'll have the new moon. That's where the sun and the moon are conjunct, or what we call a cazimi. And that's where they block out the light, so you don't see the moon at all. That's the time to write down those intentions. We always talk about planting those seeds. So wherever it is that you're keeping track of those, whether it's your journal, your calendar, your diary, your phone, whatever, write it down. Make sure you know exactly what you're working on, what project you're going to do, so that, this is the important part, on May 23rd of next year, when we have the first quarter, which is at 2 degrees of Virgo, and that's when we do all the work. You'll be able to go back and find out what project you're working on. Tell me down below, where is it that you keep your intentions written? Do you have a special safe place? Leave us a comment and let us know. Now for the void of course. Sunday on the 14th, we enter a void of course at 28 degrees 59 minutes of Gemini. This was at 10:46 p.m. And we returned into the sign of Cancer on the 15th at 12:30 a.m. On the 17th, Wednesday, at 3:13 a.m., at 28 degrees of Cancer, we begin another void of course until 5:20 a.m., when it enters into the sign of Leo. Then, on the 19th, we begin another void at 12:21 p.m. at 29 degrees of Leo until 12:23 p.m. Now, that is probably our record short void of course. It's only 2 minutes long. It will then enter into the sign of Virgo. Hello, Leo. This week with the new moon, you should feel the blend from the day and the quiet of the night. It'll create some natural inner alignment between one's sense of self and your emotional world. You may experience life with a sincerity and emotional clarity, easily connecting with their needs and feelings. At times, strong inner unity may make you less adaptable to change, especially when it doesn't align to your personal direction. The new moon symbolizes new beginnings and self-discovery. The sun was in a conjunction with Mercury last week and is separating away from that. Still 2 degrees, so considered conjunct technically, but that still gives a union of the mind and identity, which creates quick thinking and expression in communicating. There's a spark of creativity here with curiosity and a strong focus on ideas and self-expression. This will bring heartfelt originality while subjectively coloring your thinking, especially valuable for artists, writers, and performers. Now, the sun is also opposite Saturn, and that's that tug of war we talk about between your personal desire and the external demands of life. We may feel that are intense at times. However, through this dynamic, you may learn responsibility, perseverance, and self-trust. Over time, you may become a little wiser as a mentor or leader with a deep understanding of effort and reward. Of course, we still have Saturn and Neptune that are conjunct at the head of the kite, which means Neptune is opposite the sun as well. This invites you on a journey of balancing personal purpose with spiritual longing or idealism. You may oscillate between strong ambition and that desire to escape into fantasy dreams or causes. You may struggle to define your identity or project unrealistic expectations onto others. However, if integrated, this can create people who are deeply imaginative, compassionate, and visionary, able to bring spiritual or artistic ideals into the world in a more tangible way. Grounding practices and self-honesty are essential now. Partnerships are at the forefront this week, whether it's in love, business, or friendship. Fairness and balance become the key. A negotiation or compromise may be necessary here, even if your pride will resist at first. Professionally, you may be called to step up as a leader, but remember that collaboration enhances results. Some financial adjustments may feel restrictive, but bring long-term security. And midway, you may find an opportunity in travel, learning, or new perspectives, and you may find some open doors. The weekend will bring in romance, creativity, and joy. Now, Dawn, what do you have for Leo?
I know you have a lot of questions because life is crazy. So let's get to them. See if we can find you some answers in tarot. This is Damas Enormously Tarot. This is your weekly reading. Let's take a peek, Leo, and see what is in store for you this week. All righty then. Here we go. Leo, your first card out. Oh, my goodness. Ah, Lord have mercy. That's a 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands. Oh my goodness, there are people around you who are just, I would just put it this way, okay? This week is going to be a trying time for you. This week is a lot of conflicting information around you, a lot of conflicting interests around you, and your interest is not the most important in a lot of people's ideas, okay? So know that this week, make sure that you're taking care of you. Make sure that you focus on you, that you are priority one in your life. And if you sense that others may not put you as a priority, then you need to question their motivation. And you need to understand how they might be working not in your best interest. Now, I'm not saying they're backbiting. This is not a 7 of Swords situation. This is just a lot of competing energy. So they're not trying, the good part about it is these people will not be bringing you down. They're not trying to bring you down necessarily. They're just trying to climb up. And sometimes they climb up by climbing on your back, but they're not tearing you down. They're just saying, hey, this person does this well, but I do it better. This person can only go this far. I can do more. Again, they're not tearing you down because they're not that kind. Okay, so what I'm trying to be clear about is there's just a lot of competitive energy around you this week of people who are not looking out for your best interest. This also can happen in your family life situation, and this can happen in your friend situation. This could be a situation where you and your spouse, you and your significant other, you and your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, or even your children, or even your parents. This could be a situation where any of those are you say you're in a situation, you're in a bind, or you're having to deal with something, and the conversation with them is kind of about, okay, but this is how it affects me. And you're like, but this is my problem. I know, but this is how it affects me. I know, but this is my problem. Yes, but you see, if you didn't have the problem, I wouldn't, etc. You see what I'm saying? I'm not excusing their behaviors, but I'm saying it's not as detrimental as it could be because again, they're not tearing you down. It's just that their focus is very different. So what I would ask you to do is this week, be patient to a degree with these people, because know that again, their priorities are different than yours for reasons that may be good or not, we don't know. But they could create an inflamed situation, and I don't want you to go there, okay? Because again, they're not ill-intended. They're not ill-intended. The second card out is, I love it, the Lover's card. Oh my goodness. That tells me, that confirms it's somebody closer to you. This is probably not a work environment situation. Again, this is probably family and friends. This is somebody who's closer to you, somebody who you really care about, somebody who you are connected to. And again, they have their own agenda. They have their own thinking. They have their own priorities, and they don't quite align with yours. And so this week, as you progress through the week and you need to get things accomplished, if you turn to them and say, well, I need this taken care of, they may say, look, that's wonderful and that's good. And I appreciate the fact you need it. I can't help you because this is what I need done. And you may say, wait a minute, that can wait. And their idea is, no, it can't. And you have to understand, again, they're coming from a different point of view. They're not being mean. They're not being standoffish. They're not being self-centered. They're living their priorities as you live yours. So this is more of a week of patience, a week of patience, and a week of you putting your ego and your attitude to the side and say, you know what, I get that. So this is more, again, I'm saying a self-help week. This is a week where you look at that self. I can't believe it. The King of Wands. Yes, self-help. This is a week of you saying, you know what, you're right. I get it. I appreciate that you considered it. This is how you would do it. I appreciated that you considered it at least, but I totally get that you have things you got to do. I'll get it done. But again, leave it in a good space, because again, they don't mean to blow you off. That's not what they're doing. They have a different priority for themselves, and you have to understand that you're not always priority one. Now, you may want to also, if this is a hotter issue for you, if there's something that's super important to you, you can stress to them how important it is to you, and that importance has to be job one. However, again, give a little grace in this regard, because again, your priorities and their priorities are not aligned. I guarantee it. That's the problem. They're not aligned, but they have very good reasons why theirs has to take priority this time. And these are people who probably have put you in the highest priority previously. So again, they've proven the fact that when they can help you, they do help you. It's just, this is not the time. So don't take it personally. Go, just don't sulk, don't pout, don't be a little childish. Go, just say, you know, I totally get it. I'm okay. And then find another way around it. Come on, Leo, you can do this, okay? You know, and don't look at it. I just told you about the don't pouting. There's a devil card. Don't get into that funk. Don't get into, oh my, oh, woe is me. They don't love me. They don't like me. It's not about you. It really isn't about you. Again, they would do what they could for you. You know that. These are people who love and like you. These are your friends. These are your family members. These are very close family members. This could be, again, your spouse, your significant other, or your bestie. You know, I mean, these are people who really would do most anything for you. But this week, they got things to do. Okay. And I'm giving you this because Spirit's sending you the message, because again, you might be inclined to get emotional this week and not, or just, you know, go off and throw a tantrum, or go off and be mad and not even tell them why you're mad. And you have no right to, because again, these people have always had your back. It's just this time they can't. All right. If you go through this week and you don't catch the attitude and you don't throw the tantrum and you do understand that they have priorities, and then you work around it, you're going to be happy that you did. And ultimately, it's going to be good for your friendship, because you're going to say, you know what? I figured out another way. And maybe sometimes, Leo, sometimes, you're not going to like this, but maybe sometimes it's too easy to ask for help. And so you go to that as a default. And maybe this is one of those times, and maybe energies from Spirit and from your experiences are telling you maybe you need to find new ways, other ways, because maybe you're tapping the same sources continuously, and maybe they're saying, you know, let's not use this one all the time. Let's go to somebody else. Let's do something else. Let's find another way. And that's what this week's about. So again, you're going to create a happier environment for yourself. If when this week comes and you hit that roadblock and somebody can't help you do exactly what you're wanting to do, thank them, be gracious, and then move on to another way to do it, because you, Leo, are strong. You are determined. You can do this. You've got this. So find another way, and you will be successful in that regard. I promise you. You hear what I'm saying? I'm not guaranteeing. I'm promising you. As I'm promising, I'm curious to hear what it is and how it happened. How did you handle it? Share it with people. Because sometimes what happens is as we get in these situations, we think we're alone. And then we'll see that somebody else has lived it through social media or something else, and they're talking about it. You're like, wow, I've had that situation too. Share your lived experience with us. Tell us what it is that you encountered, and then how you engaged with it. And then once you engage with it, what the result was, so we can learn from you. So everyone can learn from you. Because again, the last thing we want to do is go off half-cocked on our friends and family when they don't deserve it. The last thing we want to do is to hit dead ends and think there isn't something else. So you may be able to give us ideas on, hey, if you get to a dead end here, maybe try this. Or if you get to a dead end here, this is how I handled the situations where I didn't get mad, or this is a way I turned to somebody else. I found somebody else who knew they could do this. And I hadn't even thought about that because I didn't think of it that way. Again, you giving clarity, sharing with us helps us all. So please share with us anything in regards to this. I would appreciate it. And I do respond, by the way, to all of my messages. You will look back and you will see on my thing that I responded. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to let you go. What can I say? It's going to be a trying week, but you'll get through this. As you get through this, I would also ask you give me a helping hand. And how do we do that? By hitting that like, share, subscribe, and follow buttons, depending on which social media you're on. If you are on my YouTube channel, you will notice on the lower right-hand corner, there is a subscribe button. Please pop on that. And if you hadn't already subscribed, then subscribe. When you do, make sure you turn on that bell, that icon bell, which will give you notices every time I go live or anytime I post something. If you are on my channel, please pop over to Miss Bonnie's channel, who does the astrology, and that is Your Love Goddess, and subscribe there. If you are on her channel, please pop over to Sonoran Mystic Tarot, which is my channel, and subscribe there as well. With that said, I'm going to let you go. Have an amazing week. Again, work through this, and you will be so happy that you did. Again, you're going to learn. This is a learning experience. Take it as it comes. Love, light, and blessings from Miss Bonnie and her family, me and my family, to you and you, to you and yours, until next week. Again, I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great one. Bye-bye.